Hi, everybody. It's Carolyn. How are you? We're going to look at some true crime headlines now. I know you've heard about the little boy in Dallas that was found in the street. If you didn't, by now, little boy found in the street in Dallas. He was found by a jogger in the morning, or someone walking the dog, whatever it was. It was a jogger or someone walking the dog. She thought it was a dog, and then the child had ants on his feet, and his face was covered with blood. He had no shirt on, no shoes. Now we're learning more about this. So let me just tell you what we're learning about this, okay? We're learning that there was a teen in Dallas that allegedly broke into this home. And this 4-year-old boy is a twin, okay? And this teen allegedly stabbed this little boy to death while he slept. So, he was lying in the middle of a street in the Mountain Creek neighborhood of Dallas, Texas. And police, said, of course, this was unusual circumstances. He was there for hours and, they didn't even release his identity. I don't even know if they knew it, but his identity is Cash Gernon, okay, 4 years old. Now, he has a twin brother, okay? Saturday night, the police arrested a man in connection with his death. And that was 18-year-old Darren, and that's spelled Darriyynn Brown. He's currently facing kidnapping and robbery charges, although authorities say the charges could likely be upgraded after the official cause of death of the little boy is released. Now, according to police, Darren Brown lived about a half a mile away from where the boy was found. And I'm going to show you a picture that was released by the, let's see here. So these are the pictures that were released. Little boy, sweet little boy. All right, let me do this. Let me share this with you real quick. Okay. So there's the pictures and go back. Okay, to. Now, the boy, the twin, is in the state's custody. So I'm not sure. It sounds like there might be something going on there, right? Where was the mother? We're not getting a lot of details on that at all. So, yeah. And we also have another really sad case, a mom in Washington, D.C. This is the baby that's missing in Washington, D.C. that somebody told me about. 2-month-old son, she said, was missing. Okay, his name is Kyan Jones. His body hasn't been found, and he was reported missing on May 7th. But the court documents detailed how his mother, LaDonia Boggs, age 38, confessed to police that she rolled on her son. She said she rolled over on him as she slept, and then she threw his dead body away in a dumpster. Now, yes, I know that people have done that, and that's why some people say co-sleeping is really dangerous. But if a mother did that, wouldn't you call 911? Wouldn't you try to revive your child? Would you throw your child away in a dumpster? Okay, the father was living in a different residence, and he would stay with her intermittently. Now, they say on or around May 4th that she called the father of the baby to come pick up their son and pack all his stuff. The father did not go to the home on that day or the following day. And then she reportedly called him claiming that Department of Children and Family Services had taken the infant, okay? She hung up on the father at some point in a conversation. When he called back, there was a child in the background that reportedly told the story that the mother did to him. And they went to a hotel where she stayed with him and told him that the Department of Family and Children's Services took the infant, and someone named Wanda Davis was the employee with the Department of Children and Family Services. What Davis happens to be the name of one of the father's relatives. So the father was at the hotel. He called the National Center for Children and Family Services, and they said they did not have his son. They didn't know anything about the woman. That same day, the mother placed the calls. The same day the father placed the calls, they responded to the mother's residence, and they reported that she claimed the baby I am really losing here. Because this is, okay. The same day the father placed the calls, police went to the mother's residence. Now, the police left after the mother claimed she did not have a baby or any other kids, okay? No other small kids in the home. However, it suggested that she had 5 children younger than 18 at that apartment. Child and Family Services went to her home again on May 7th, contacted the authorities after she stated that the agency had taken her son and allegedly gave inconsistent accounts of when her son was taken. So something very suspicious. And then she told the police that she gave the baby to the baby's father's grandmother, but then she claimed she deleted texts and contact information from her phone. Now, the father alerted police that the mother was using PCP. And she did admit to using the drug. On May 8th, she reportedly confessed to using PCP and experiencing hallucinations the day she fell asleep on the little baby. Court documents stated that she woke up with her stomach on top of her son who was not breathing, and she allegedly said she waited a brief period before wrapping the baby in a blanket and throwing him in a dumpster. Now, prior to her arrest, there was a video posted that was talking about the disappearance. The mother is heard saying that her son was born prematurely and somehow died while they were sleeping, and that she got rid of his body. I wrapped it up, took it outside, and disposed of it in the trash, and that's what happened. She is reportedly heard saying in this video. According to the Metropolitan Police, there's CCTV that shows her carrying an infant car seat, a plastic bag, and a cardboard box outside. She's also reportedly filmed going to a dumpster before returning to her home without any of the aforementioned items. So there was a search of a landfill in Charles City, Virginia, and his body has not been located, but she was still arrested. Despite being charged with felony murder, she was released from custody without posting bail because she is required to, she has to immediately verify her address and undergo GPS monitoring. She's also banned from having contact with minors. She's due back in court on November 19th. Crazy. And then we have a case out of Ohio, okay, Munchausen's. Remember Gypsy Rose? Well, this is another case like that with an 11-year-old girl. The mother loses custody of her on Thursday because she lied to the child about being terminally ill. The Stark County Division of Children's Services took the child from the mother, Lindsay Abul, 34. Okay, a day before the girl's father, Jamie Abul, was awarded emergency custody. Police confirmed that Lindsay is under criminal investigation with Children's Services. They filed a neglect and abuse complaint, which accused her of using her daughter's medical condition to garner money, housing, and trips for the past several years. So this mother allegedly claimed that her daughter's central nervous system was failing due to an incurable and unknown medical condition. However, a medical professional who reviewed the child's extensive medical records concluded that there's no evidence to support she was terminally ill. And the girl believed she was dying. She had been going to a counselor for several years thinking she was dying. And she wanted to discuss the process of what she thought was her impending death. Now let's see, the girl's purported medical condition caught the attention of two Stark County universities who held an event in late February where the girl threw the first pitch during an exhibition softball game. During the event, the mother said that her daughter had only 2 months to live. And on her bucket list, she wanted to be a college softball player as her top wish, and trying to get her as close to that as possible in the remaining time she has is what they did. And they were, let's see, there was the description for the event was that they're going to play a scrimmage at the Hall of Fame Fitness Center. And that was on her bucket list. After the event, several people contacted the Canton repository and questioned whether the 11-year-old was as sick as Lindsay Abel was saying, alleging the mother previously claimed she had a brain tumor herself. At some point, Lindsay reportedly interviewed families to take in her daughter after she died. And Lindsay told the news outlet that she was a victim of a smear campaign and the allegations were false. She declined to show any records of her daughter's medical care or diagnosis, and she claimed that doctors were unable to cure her daughter or treat her. Meanwhile, the 11-year-old appeared healthy and continued to play and travel. Let's see. Police have exercised an emergency provision to remove the girl from the home. That's what they did. And she's going to stay in the father's custody at least until the next month's court hearing. That's pretty sad. 11-year-old thinks she's dying. Okay. All right. And of course, today was, they were picking the jury in the Molly Tibbetts case. And so that's probably expected to continue. Hopefully that'll wrap up tomorrow and the trial will start Wednesday. Let's see. And then just trying to see here. Yeah. So that's going to start. I do have a video on that you might want to see, which is just a brief background on the case. That'll get you up to speed if you haven't. She was dog sitting at her boyfriend's brother's house and went for a jog. And then the boyfriend heard the next day she didn't go in, she didn't make it to work, and the search ensued and all of that. And we also have the case I told you about, that mother in Arizona who was hearing voices telling her to kill her children. The two children, a 7-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl, were found dead in the family's apartment in Phoenix. Children appear to have been killed with a meat cleaver. Law enforcement said that the husband and wife had an argument about financing a move for the wife to go back to Japan, okay? And the man said they had a fight and he spent the night outside in his car. She apparently woke up during the middle of the night with blood all over her and then saw her dead children. And then she ran out and called police. She speaks primarily Japanese and she communicated with police through an interpreter. She's in custody on suspicion of 2 counts of first-degree murder, and the victims have not yet been identified. That's another sad case. And then we have the Nebraska one, right? The father went out. They arrested him in California. 2 children, 3-year-old Theodore Price and The sister is 5-year-old Emily Price, were found dead in the home. The mother tried to call for a welfare check. They kept saying, no, there didn't need to be. Finally, someone gained entry to the house, found the children dead, called the police. They started to look for this guy who went from Nebraska, and he was arrested in California. And then the other one we talked about last night, the principal and the assistant principal, he kills the wife. Then he goes back to the house. 2 kids are in the house with him. He didn't kill the kids, but he killed himself. Now those kids are without parents, and it's so crazy what is going on. I don't know. Really crazy stuff going on. So we have Estranged Husband. Talked about this one too. Chased. Wife is sitting on the bleachers watching the one child playing baseball on a field. And he says, Mom, behind you is the estranged husband. He's coming there with kitchen knives behind her. Chases her out into the field with them. She's screaming. 2 people tackle him. It's crazy. They kept him restrained until the police arrived to arrest him. Just real nuttiness that's been going on. And the Kristen Smart, the college student that disappeared, and it's a cold case, and it was just, they just arrested the suspect. Well, they had his father, Reuben, had the remains under the porch. Well, now they found out that the suspect's mother, and I believe it's her husband, so the stepfather, helped to remove the remains, recently. And they still haven't been found, the remains. And they'll probably be going to get charges pending on them. Now, here's another one. A U.S. Marshal has been indicted on charges that he hired a man off of Craigslist to attack his wife so he could frame his ex-girlfriend with claims that she sent the man. Ian Diaz, 43, hatched this scheme with his now former wife, Angela Diaz, in 2016 in an attempt to get out of a property dispute with his ex-girlfriend. Angela Diaz was eventually arrested and charged with the plot. She pled guilty to the state charges. She was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Ian Diaz was not charged and was instead referred to as John Doe in court documents. This is some real problem solving, right? Prior to Angela's arrest, the ex-girlfriend, Michelle Hadley, was arrested and held for 3 months. She was finally exonerated and released in January 2017. Hadley sued Diaz and the city of Anaheim over the arrest. She settled the case with Diaz and is reportedly finalizing a deal with the city ahead of a trial that's set to begin next week. Hadley claimed in her lawsuit that detectives willfully turned a blind eye to Ian Diaz's obvious fake reports because he was a fellow law enforcement officer. And in fact, prosecutors at the time laid all the blame on Angela Diaz. According to the indictment, Diaz and Hadley bought a condominium together in 2015, but they split up 2 months later, January 2016. He began living in the condo with Angela Diaz, referred to as the unindicted co-conspirator, and later married her. Prosecutors alleged that Diaz and his wife created a fake email in Hadley's identity, sent themselves threatening emails, and then used the account to recruit men on Craigslist to engage in a R fantasy with Angela. Ian Diaz accidentally used his personal cell phone to approve one of the R fantasy advertisements, and then abruptly canceled that cell phone the next day in an effort to conceal the scheme. They finally succeeded, the Diaz couple, in getting a man to come to the condo for the R fantasy. That was July 13th of 2016, and they called police when the man arrived. Police initially believed her story that Hadley had set up the attack, Hadley was arrested. That's the echo. My ex set up this attack. Look, she did this. Yeah. So police attempt, believed that. They arrested Hadley, and all those charges were dropped when they found out she was not responsible. And then they arrested Angela Diaz. Now Ian is now charged with cyber stalking, conspiracy to commit cyber stalking, and perjury. Crazy. Problem-solving skills at these people, right? And then we have that boyfriend, right? This is a crazy one. Minnesota. He was Derek Edward Malovic, 40 years old, right? So he claims that he was attacked by two people. It was dark, and he smashed one of them and did this. When he turns on the lights, he finds out that his ex-girlfriend is barely clinging to life. So that was his, story. Police said, this isn't adding up. Okay. He called 911 shortly before 2:30 a.m. to request an ambulance, telling the dispatcher that he interrupted a personal robbing of his apartment, and he bashed the person's head in and then stabbed them. He said the other person got away, and he had found out when he opened the lights that it was his ex-girlfriend. She had a weak and shallow pulse, but she was transported to the hospital and she died. His statement to police was that he had come home and he walked into his kitchen where he was punched in the face and attacked by two intruders, yet he had no marks, okay? After the stabbing, he called 911. He left the apartment, then he smashed his phone and threw it and the knife in a dumpster. Okay, the authorities, Virginia police, said that Malovic had no physical injuries that would indicate that this happened, and that there was only a single drop of blood on a paper plate in the kitchen. Autopsy conducted showed that the victim died of multiple sharp and blunt force injuries, to her head, neck, and 5 wounds to her back. The cause of death was homicidal violence, according to the medical examiner, and then Malovic is being held at the St. Louis County Jail on $1 million bail. So that's a lot of the, we still haven't, I don't think they found that missing any of the people that are missing in Indiana. We have the little boy that's missing from the hotel, the Indiana hotel, the Best Western, where they saw him walk out. And we have the missing 22-year-old mom and the 4-year-old daughter that were last heard from on Friday night when they had apparently a video call with her husband, who's a long-distance truck driver, and was said to be out of the area at the time that occurred. So, yeah. There's another murder out of Indiana where left an Indiana man dead and an elderly woman wounded. There was a dispute neighbors had a dispute over a driveway. The Richmond police said they found John D. Day, 46, shot to death, and 72-year-old Brenda Day with a gunshot wound to the abdomen. And that was Thursday evening. Both were inside their home on the city's northeast side. Officers took Elick Tywayne Allen, age 41, into custody at the scene, and he was booked into the Wayne County Jail on preliminary charges of murder and attempted murder, being held without bail. They apparently had an ongoing dispute over a driveway that led to a physical fight on Thursday. And after the fight, police said gunfire erupted. Allen has a 2009 conviction of a charge of battery and causing serious injury after he shot a man with whom he had a dispute. He served 3 years of a 6-year sentence and had the rest of it suspended. I wonder if it was for good behavior. I don't know. Crazy. It's just really, really crazy. Anyway, let me see here. Let's see. Now, here's something. I think this would be like in a tabloid thing and not true, but apparently a 28-year-old wife was murdered by her husband and in-laws for giving birth to 4 girls. And this is out of, I believe this is out of, let me see, India. Let me see here. 28-year-old, she was killed by her own husband and in-laws for giving birth to 4 girls. Like, that's her fault, right? When the man is the one that determines the sex. Just 3 months after she gave birth to a fourth daughter, the victim, Savitri Bakel, was strangled to death. And the victim also had bruising that appeared to have been from a beating. Family members reportedly claimed that her husband, Ratan Singh, and his parents were expecting her to deliver a male child and became upset when they learned she had another girl. Singh and the parents then began to berate and torture her. And her family members also claimed that she was harassed and tortured by her husband and in-laws for her dowry. Family members said, let's see, a team was later sent to the spot and the body was recovered. The suspects were charged with murder, but so far no arrests have been made. That's very strange how they do that there, yeah. Okay, guys, so now back to Maya Mayate. Well, let's see if there's anything, I don't think there's anything new, but I have a feeling that he is going to be arrested this week. Let me just see. I just want to go on the pages. Perhaps see if there's anything new here about oops. Let me see here. I know that I had something here. See. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not seeing much going on here with her. Yeah, so I'm not seeing much going on with that. And let's see what else. Like I said, Molly Tibbetts, probably gonna be another day of jury selection tomorrow, maybe a trial starting. I think there's also with the little boy out in horrible case out in Staten Island where the father put him in and it was, he froze to death after he was beaten out in the garage, basically. They're doing some pre-trial stuff on that. Can't think. Got a lot of stuff going on with the car that we're trying to get straightened out because the body shop where we have to bring it is already 3 weeks behind and we can only get a rental car for a month. And so it's like, I don't know. It's just, they're going to call tomorrow and see if they can rush anything in. I don't know. It's just been a really stressful day. There's been some really good stuff that have happened, but it's been really, really stressful. And sorry guys, but that's what I have. Maybe I'm going to put up a video later of me baking something, or I don't know. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, but sorry about that. Sorry for this video the way it is, but yeah, I had other things I was going to do and it just didn't work out. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye-bye. Let me see how to do